Good morning, Seattle. I'm Cam Steele. Welcome back to the program. You're with New Age NorthWest, and we are in Vancouver, British Columbia. Our guest today is Francesca Victoria, who has been around the world and is also a Reiki master studying Reiki, the Usui system. Welcome to the program. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you, Cam, for inviting me.
So tell us a little bit about what led you to doing Reiki.
Well, what led me to doing Reiki was when my children were very young. Typical mothers out there would probably know children with ear infection, nose infections, throat infections, and on antibiotics every 2 weeks. Okay. And it was just becoming not like a nuisance for me. And I thought there must be a better way to deal with these children always getting sick. So after I had said that, I had met a Reiki master who taught Reiki, and I was absolutely impressed by what she did. And so I took the class myself 14 years ago and decided to experiment on my children. And I used to literally put them to sleep.
Wow.
Like doing Reiki on them. And eventually their causes just kind of went away.
What is Reiki?
Reiki is a Japanese word for universal life force energy. And basically what I do is I tap into that energy and access it for the purposes of healing.
Is this something that you can see coming out of your hands, like you got laser beams coming out of your hands or something?
No, it's not a light show or anything like that.
Well, you don't know these things.
Yeah.
You hear about people curing diseases with Reiki. You hear about people doing magical things, but it's not something we can see. So I'm a little bit of a skeptic, and
yes.
I'd like to know and I'd like to see these things.
Yes.
And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that would like to see it, but it does have a profound effect. I've experienced it, and it does. Where did it come from?
Well, Reiki was actually rediscovered by a man by the name of Mikao Usui. That's why it's called the Usui system of Reiki, just over 100 years ago. And he literally went on a mountain and meditated for 21 days and decided he really wanted to find out how these masters from the past used to be able to heal with their hands and walk on water and do whatever the stories say they do. So
I just had a guess. We were just talking about walking on water with Jesus. He wrote that book, the autobiography.
Yes.
So yeah,
yes.
You know him. Yeah.
Yes. So he wanted to really find out, and he couldn't find any answers on the outside. So he went inside and discovered what Reiki was. Just through the story, you can read about the story. It's a very long story, so I need to shorten the version of it.
Yeah.
And basically, he was literally went unconscious, and for some reason, when you're sleeping but you're awake, that's kind of the state that he was in. And so while this state was happening after the 21-day fast, he realized, that this Reiki had come to him and taught him how to use it on the earth, because the monks were using it, but they were just using it for spiritual use, but not on a physical use. So he wanted to bring it to the real world. So he was taught how to do that in the time that he went kind of unconscious but still awake. So when he woke up, he was quite aware of what had happened. So it was very profound for him. So once this happened to him, he took it to Japan and started doing the work, and on and on and on it goes on. And so we were able to have it here in America because of a grandmaster by the name of Hawaii Takata, who actually went to Japan and met the second grandmaster and became a devoted student and brought it to America. So for us, it's as easy as receiving Reiki in our own living rooms.
What does the term Reiki mean? Like, it's a Japanese word, obviously.
Yes, it's a Japanese word, and what it means is universal life energy. It's that energy that is, makes the world turn at the right speed and the sun in the right place. And basically, you're tapping into that huge energy. It has an intelligence of its own.
What is the energy? Like, is it like a place the energy comes from, or is it just energy that we just...
Yeah, it's the energy we breathe. It's the energy. It's the energy that's all around us. The energy is all around us, and so basically we just tap into that energy.
So how does it work once it reaches the body then?
Well, once it reaches the body, it can affect the physical, mental, emotional, or spirit level of a person. And what happens is when it reaches the physical body, is it just brings everything into balance. Some people just want to have Reiki just because they have a lot of stress in their life and they just want to relax. And basically what the Reiki does is just, it's very calming, it's very soothing, and it just helps people, especially of this day and age, that are under so much stress with working hard and all of that.
Now, I've heard people going into office towers and to receive Reiki. Like they go, Reiki people such as yourself, is that what you're called, Reiki people, or is there a name? Reiki
They're just Reiki practitioners.
Okay,
Yeah,
Reiki practitioners that go into office spaces and assist people in relaxing. Is this something you would do?
Yeah, I mean, you could use it. I mean, basically, when you receive the Reiki, like you go through a Reiki 1 class, which is, you know, about 3 days long and 4 separate sessions. And basically, when you receive the Reiki, you can just use it for your own personal base, like self, or you can use it to share it with your family.
Can a person not just receive sessions without taking the class? Can say the average person say, I want to get a Reiki session, but I'm not interested in taking the class?
Oh, yes, that's very possible. People can come in and just relax and have an experience of the Reiki.
So they don't have to take the class to have a session?
No, you don't. You don't have to be sick.
It's something that we need to be clear on.
Yes, you don't have to be sick. I mean, because when I first saw it, I didn't know what it was. I just saw this girl doing all these different hand positions on this person, and I, you know, didn't understand what it was. So I said, do you have to be sick to have that? And she said, no. So
I've noticed now, you're talking about the hand signals. Now, I've noticed when people are receiving Reiki, I've noticed the practitioners, when I've watched it, they use signals to try and do something. What are they doing with these signals? They go like this.
Oh, maybe what you might have seen somebody do is there's also a second level of Reiki.
Okay.
There's Reiki level 1 and Reiki level 2, and then there's a mastery level if you want to go any further.
What are the differences in the levels?
Well, there's not really a big difference. It's just that if you're feeling called to do second level, you can do it. Second level, you know, it involves Reiki symbols, and you're working with symbols to send across the world to people, places, situations.
So you can send Reiki to somebody else, say we're here in Vancouver.
Yes.
And this show is being taped here in Vancouver, and it's going to be shown in Seattle.
Yes.
So if somebody phones up and says, I want to receive a treatment, you can actually do it from the phone.
Yes, I could. I would actually, you know, need to have her name and where she is, and then I would just privately.
Why do you need her name, though? Like, is it?
Well, it's all involved in when you do a level 2 class. All that information is exposed to you. But a lot of people really don't need to do level 2. It's just if you feel called. I find that the people that are drawn to doing level 2 Reiki are people that go into Reiki Master.
So can anybody do Reiki? Can the average guy come in and say, I want to do Reiki?
Yeah, anybody can do Reiki.
Really?
Actually, my children took Reiki from me last year. They're 13 and 14. And they're doing great with it. They use it on their friends. It works for them.
So, in other words, why do we need to go get a course if it's all universal energy?
Well, what happens is it's almost like a muscle that hasn't been used for a long time. Like we all have this energy, all of us. But it's like a muscle that's been put to sleep. It's like, you know, when you start exercising, you start using that muscle. So basically, through a Reiki 1 class, what happens is you go through 4 initiations where I work with your hands and your head, and somehow you have your personal connection with Reiki, which has nothing to do with me. I'm just the facilitator. And during that process, something opens up for the person, and they are able to reconnect again, and they can do this themselves because they've reconnected with that healing ability that they've always had. Just kind of needs to be dusted off. And
okay, now on that note, dusting off and everything else, will Reiki assist someone in getting answers for themselves?
Definitely.
Can it be used as an intuitive tool?
Yes, Reiki is definitely for that. Reiki is about self-empowerment. Okay. Reiki is most of my classes. I teach people before you put your hands on anybody, make sure you've filled yourself up. And Reiki.
Is this done with clothes on or anything, or do you?
Yeah, no, it's completely like you wear comfortable clothing, like jogging clothes.
Lying down or sitting?
Well, yeah, we'll be lying down, we'll be sitting, we'll be sharing, each other's, whatever your experience was and how it feels for you.
What kind of experience? Like what you're talking about experiencing? Like when we have our hands on somebody, does something happen? Do you receive information, or is it Just
Well,
a feeling that you receive?
basically, you know, sometimes you may receive information. I usually don't share that information unless, you know, I really feel called to, because I believe that the most powerful thing is people receiving their own answers. And through Reiki, a lot of people do, because it's a time where you get real quiet and you just kind of put your hands on yourself, and you do receive the answers because you're accessing your own power, your own energy, and you're connected with universal life energy.
Now, if someone wants to find out more about Reiki, is there any facts? Is there anything proven that there's energy that flows through somebody?
Well, yeah, you can feel it. You can actually feel the energy. You can't see it. It's like, you know, a radio station. You know,
Right.
once you get you get tuned up, and
Right.
basically that's what happens in a class. You get tuned up. You can't see, you know, where the voice is coming from, but you know you can hear it. So it's along those lines.
So let me ask you, from your perspective, when you're giving Reiki, do you feel like a tube coming down you or something? Like you're talking about. The way I perceive it is you've got your hands on somebody and energy is coming through you. What do you feel when the energy? Do you feel a warmth? Is it a tingling? Is it cold? Or is it like,
Well,
what's the feeling?
Well, the feeling is always good. You always get a good feeling.
I'm trying to get a physical feeling. Is there a physical
Well,
feeling?
yes. Sometimes, you know, you will feel like just kind of warmth coming out of the hands, like a heat. And it's kind of like, it's almost like, you know how you can almost feel the blood that's pulsing through your veins? Well, it's the same kind of feeling. You can actually almost like just feel the pulsing, and you can just feel the energy entering different parts of your body. And it just feels wonderful. It's the most natural feeling.
You work with the oils as well? With Reiki, can you incorporate the two of them together? If somebody, say, is doing aromatherapy, can they incorporate aromatherapy with?
Oh,
with
definitely, yes. I've had a lot of people that have done classes that are aromatherapists. I've had some doctors in the class, and
Massage therapists?
Yes. Okay. Actually, just really helps enhance anything that you're already doing. Okay. So it's good for anybody. Anybody can do the Reiki.
Francesca, we're running out of time.
Great.
I wish we could have longer with you because there's probably a lot more we could talk about. Thanks for coming.
Oh, well, thank you.
Now, if somebody wants to get a hold of you, where can they reach you?
They can reach me at Messages from the Heart in Vancouver.
Store number?
Store number 988-4968.
And that's area code 604. Also, our last guest on the show was Richard G. Patton. If you would like to get a hold of him, we will put up his name and his email address, which is http://www, I believe. It's on the screen. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for joining us. And thank you, Seattle.
My pleasure.
You bet. I love having you on the show.
Thank you.